I'm Taylor Ranker II. I am the CEO and founder of Questmont. We're a virtual family office. We specialize in helping and working with exiting business owners and help them optimize and protect the risks they've taken in their life's work. Pretty simple. I am an entrepreneur and a business owner, so I'm proud and honored to represent the people who, these business owners, these entrepreneurs, they create the most jobs, they create the most stability for other people, they create the healthcare, pay the taxes. So I am happy to give them what they deserve. We literally are the guardians of the capital of the United States' most productive citizens. Always, every day. So your typical wealth advisor, they may be able to delight their clients. However, at the higher net worth levels, they need defense. So we delight and defend our clients. The wealthier, more successful someone becomes, the target on their back becomes bigger, quite frankly. I'll share a story with you. So sometimes that can come from inside the fort, sometimes that comes from outside the fort. What I mean by that is inside the fort would be a family member, a church friend, a golf buddy. So we had a scenario where we had a client own several manufacturing businesses during COVID. His net worth was north of $100 million, but they couldn't get their hands on chips. So what happened was they were very illiquid. They couldn't push out product. So high net worth, but only $2 or $3 million in the bank. His golf buddy, his best friend of 25 years, comes to him in that very moment and says, "You need to put $1.3 million in this real estate deal." We knew immediately from the high-level wealth plan we'd done that it was inappropriate, but it's his best friend. He wants to do this. He's compelled. He thinks he's getting the inside scoop. So we had our real estate experts analyze the deal. Well, it turns out that it's a marina. It's an operating marina. Our client knew nothing about either, did not want to be involved in an operating marina. Furthermore, it was in the bottom quartile, bottom 25% of all marinas in the United States that had sold or were for sale. So it was just a dog. So we had to defend the client in that case. And we were the bad guy, so he could go to his golf buddy and say, "Well, Questmont said it doesn't fit my plan." That's easy. The creation and the identifying and building the tools and solutions that these business owners need and deserve. Yeah, just recently this happened. We had a business owner that we're representing. He had just retained my firm, and he was a minority owner of a business. And so the business went to market, and it was quite valuable, north of $200 million. But when the first offer came in, you could tell that our gentleman, let me just say it this way, the senior partners, the majority owners got greedy pretty quickly. Green Lamborghinis came up in conversations, things that hadn't before. And so our partner, his branch, was providing 35% of the revenue, but they were trying to drive his proceeds down to 5% of the sale. And we knew that that was unethical, and they could get away with it if he didn't have representation. So we immediately brought in what I call our legal M&A business ninja, an attorney from the team who had done billions of dollars worth of deals, and effectively it leveled the playing field because now they knew there was a new sheriff in town. There have been many, but one in particular comes to mind. It was about a dozen years ago. We were referred, a CPA referred a gentleman to us who was wanting to exit his surgery centers in a few years. And this gentleman was in his 70s. What that meant at the time, based on tax laws at the time, he was going to have to take money out of this big IRA he had. So he had a $5 million IRA, which would mean he had to take $250,000 a year out, which would create about a $70,000, $80,000 a year tax bill. But he didn't need the income. He's still making quite a bit of money from the business. So we had to solution this. It gets more complicated. He had one son working in the business, two daughters not in the business. So how do you equalize the wealth? Because the son is clearly going to get the business, which he has to show up for work every day, right, to inherit that third. So here's the complex solution we came up with. We knew the father wanted to exit, so we structured a deferred comp plan where we made it so that the son would take over 96% control of the business, and on paper, the father would only have 4%. At the time, what that meant was that if the company had a pension plan, he wouldn't have to take this money out. So we then stuffed this $5 million out of the IRA back into the company pension. Now we didn't have to spend this money or pay this tax bill. That then creates 75 or 80,000 of cash flow that he wouldn't have had. We used that to create a life insurance trust outside of the estate and put that, a big life insurance policy. That proceeds would then go to the 2 children not in the business to help pay estate taxes and offset the imbalance. So I tell that story quickly, but that actually took 6 months to come to fruition to get the BORA team at the time looking at the various components, understanding the tax code and pension rules and estate rules to make that happen. We see this on a daily basis. This is where we live. We live in the space of defending them, like I had mentioned earlier, we actually call it the circle of vultures, particularly when someone has a liquidity event and people realize they've gotten wealthy. So the circle of vultures would be people, like I shared earlier, it could be your golf buddy, your spa friend, it could be a family member wanting to take advantage. However, when it comes from my industry, it looks like someone trying to sell you life insurance, trying to sell you a fund from their company that is not in your best interest. So it usually is what we call a conflict of interest, where the wealth advisor or the insurance person wants to be both the doctor and the pharmaceutical company. They can't. At our firm, we're not. So that's unethical in my opinion. I'll tell you a quick story. We represented a business owner about 4 years ago in their 40s. Gentleman wanted to buy out his older partner who was in his 60s. It ends up being a sale to a private equity fund, over $100 million. So our client bails out with about $50 million. Turns out his best friend is a life insurance agent, of course, right? Who had already sold our people $9.5 million of life insurance, but now is selling them. Well, now you have this big estate. When you die, there's going to be a big tax bill your kids are going to have to pay. You need $12 million more worth of life insurance. And the cost, the premium, was going to be $80,000 annually. And the commission, accordingly, was $80,000 the first year. So we brought our team of experts in, our estate attorney, my team of wealth advisors. We analyzed, from the family office perspective, we analyzed the need, and here's what we discovered. If they simply took the existing $9.5 million of life insurance they already owned, gifted it into a trust outside of the estate, that would pay all of the estate tax that was due. Hence, no need whatsoever for this $80,000 a year expense. So we defended them in the office of the life insurance agent, I might add. So again, we became the bad guy, and my client loves us to this day for that.